Hello, in this video I'm going to explain how to use the deep research tool. In the previous workshop, you might recall that we have built an agent using Azure AI Foundry, and we have done that in your own GitHub code space. You will need that GitHub code space because that is already connected to your Azure AI Foundry project. So please make sure to first run this initial workshop. Assuming that you have done that, then you can go to your GitHub code space. If it's not started yet, you can just click on the name here in code spaces in GitHub. And then when it is initialized, you can browse to the samples folder. And then you can click open the create deep research tool and then click on the markdown. And yeah, as you can see here, this is in markdown format. If you want to see how it looks in a rendering version, then you can just click on this icon here. As you can see here, the tool is explained. It also shows that you would need a O3 deep research model. So if you don't have it already, then just deploy it. If you are a participant of the Night of the Prompts hackathon, then this is already pre-deployed. Then GPT-4o, I've also deployed that in each of your environments. Because for the previous workshop, we have been using GPT 4.1, and 4.1 is not yet supported to do the scope clarification. And scope clarification is a specific task that is done by GPT-4o to refine your research query. Bing grounding is also set up already in a shared resource group within the hackathon environment. If you are watching this video from the internet or you're not participating in the Night of the Prompts hackathon, obviously you need to deploy this Bing grounding service first. And the steps to do that are also included in this README file. But for the hackathon participants, you can skip those steps. Now, a Python environment we have created last week. Now, by using this deep research tool, we touch a few preview features. So then, therefore, we need to install these packages. And so go to your terminal, which can be opened via the menu bar. Open the terminal, new terminal, and then make sure your environment is enabled. As you can see here, it's not enabled yet. So I first go to the command palette. And then I go to select interpreter. And then I click on the virtual environment that we have created last week. And you need to make sure that you use the right path here, right? So it is in a .vnv folder, and that is part of your repository. So this option is connected to your own virtual environment. Now let's wait for a moment. And then we're going to disable or remove this terminal. And then we're going to open a new one. And as you can see now, the environment is activated. And this is what we need, because otherwise your solution, your Python scripts, will not be able to find the right packages that you need for your application. So we're going to pip install these packages. I can run it. I have already done this, of course, but I will do it even. Now, as you can see, a requirement is already satisfied, so that's a good thing. Now you will have to create a new file. Make sure to create this file in the workshop folder. So in the same folder as the .env file. And then just copy the text. Oh, not everything, of course, only the Python lines of code. Copy. And then I've already done that. So if I open this Python file, let's clean up some views here. All right, there we are. So now you can see that all the import statements that you can see at the top of your Python scripts are not, there is no lint underneath it. So all the packages that you require to run this Python applications are there. Also, the .env file is loaded, and I do one override. So I want to use GPT-4o instead of GPT-4.1. So I made an override for that particular environment variable. This is how you can do that. Well, and then you just want to advise you to review the script. You don't need to understand every single detail, but if you look at the titles of the functions, then you get a little bit of a sense what components are in this Python script. And so, well, without further ado, let's try this script. Just click on play. You can also use the command line, of course. And then after a while, the agent will be created, a thread is created, a message is also created, and then the first initial message is also thrown. And in this case, in this example script, the research goal is well coded, hard coded in the Python file. Of course, in in real life or in in other scenarios, you might want to build an interface for that so that people can enter their own research goals. But as you can see, it's now running. And this deep research tool, like I said, has access to Bing grounding. So it uses Bing to do all sorts of web searches. And well, what we have not been seeing in the terminal, but what is done on the back end is that the deep research tool, when it starts, it will first try to have an understanding of your research goal, and then it sets up a plan, and that plan will then be executed. And that plan obviously include multiple web searches. And each web search will return well contextual information, and all that information will be analyzed by the deep research tool. And then after a few rounds of web searches, it will get to the conclusion of the report and will format a nice looking research report. And yeah, let's wait for that to finish. I already ran the script before this workshop video, so let's review the output here. As you can see, this is a markdown file, and again, you can click on this icon to see a preview. Well, it looks quite good. It has quite some information attached to it, and also a lot of citations, references to the original documents. Well, we don't need to read this, of course, but you see that it has quite some information, and also all the references that are used are added at the bottom. And well, for people that have been working with the researcher agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot, might recognize the process and the output that it is delivering. And so this can be very powerful. And so yeah, I think using the deep research tool and building your application itself only makes sense if you can add something unique that the researcher agent does not currently offer, which can be, for instance, tool calling, or maybe including more grounding data that's not available within your Microsoft 365 environment. So always try to challenge yourself. Why would I build something myself when there is something available off the shelf? Now, this will run for a while. I don't want to wait for it to complete. But in the meantime, we can also have a look at vibe coding, because vibe coding can help us to create a nice UI. And one way of doing that is to use a GitHub Copilot agent mode. So we need to open the chat. Right. So what I did is I used a template or example product requirements design of a different example project, and I have pasted that into the Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and I asked this question. I now want to create a wireframe description for a prototype UI for the deep research tool. Use the following template. So this is well, it is not formatted correctly, but it is in a certain format that GitHub Copilot agent will understand. And I also added this the second line, which is make sure that the content reflects the functionality of the deep research tool instead of the e-commerce platform. So this PRD was created for an e-commerce platform, and I first wanted to have a grasp of yeah, a product requirements document for this deep research tool by reverse engineering it from the Python script. And as it seems that if you do that first, um, it will enhance the ability for Copilot agent to build a nice looking UI. Because you could also choose to just simply ask the question, create a nice looking UI for me. But from experience, that will never really lead to a very sophisticated user interface. So instead, like I said, I created a PRD, as you can see here. And it also explains what it came up with. You can review this, of course. And then, well, if you accept the way your UI is described, then you can basically say, okay, now let's just build this UI based on this product requirements document, right? And typically in real life, you would be able to, to create a product requirements documents based on the use case description, based on customer conversations. Maybe you want to write down an agent user story, right? As an agent, I want to do this and that so that I can achieve this and that goal. So there are a lot of input documents that you could use to generate this product requirement document. But in this case, yeah, we just created one on the fly. And so the fun thing here is that it was able to create quite a nice looking UI. And so I want to show that. So I only asked this question, right? Build UI based on the PRD. So if you have a good described PRD, you can ask this question. Then after a while, you have a UI, right? Based on the product requirements document. And that's basically vibe coding. Of course, this is not enterprise grade, but as a starting point for your project, to have something tangible that you can explain to a client or to your users, this is a very powerful way to speed up the process. So, and by that, I want to conclude this sample workshop, the tool, deep research tool. I would encourage you to start make use of it.